Hello, hello, hello.
Greetings, greetings, blessings to you, Ellie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing amazing, doing amazing. I have to tell you, Ellie, you're one of the most punctual people I've seen so far.
Let's go.
Really, seriously, like when you like on the dot, like on the dot right there on the clock,
Yeah,
just checking in, just chiming in, tuning in, and just turning it on
yeah.
immediately. Has it always been that way, Ellie?
I listen, punctuality, that's a very divine characteristic, People who are not punctual, who are late to things, they're running a program of selfishness because you're not understanding and realizing how it affects other beings.
Mm.
So it's something that I really, really try to adhere by and really try to live out that, like, to be on time to things.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. And it's interesting the way that you say running a program of selfishness,
Yeah.
like you called it a program that's
Yeah.
running,
Yeah.
I find it very, just your choice of words was very interesting because I feel like I used to run that program, unknowingly to
Yeah.
myself, unbeknownst to me.
Yeah.
I was running a program of selfishness for a lot of my life.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, when you speak it in that way, we have to understand that they're just energies that are constantly running through us,
Mm.
right? So when we start to see, oh, I'm running this program right now, it starts the detachment that that's not really you. You're just consenting to an energy flowing through you, which is probably connected to an inner child wound.
Okay, it gets deep.
Yeah, deep.
Whoa, inner child wound. Okay, so before we go any further, I want to make sure am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, Ellie Lee. That's my whole name.
Ellie Lee.
Yeah,
Ellie Lee. And
yeah.
so is it pronounced both of them like both and?
No, my first name is Ellie. My last name is Lee.
Got it, got it. And good friends just call you Ellie?
Yeah, everyone just calls me Ellie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Ellie Lee is just I love it. It has a lovely rhyme to it, a lovely ring to it, and you could sing to it.
True. It's true.
You could sing to it. Ellie, when you're talking about these trauma wounds, like
Yeah.
these programs that are running in the background,
Yeah.
was it ever challenging for you when it came to what you're so like able to do now, that
Yeah.
you're just able to show up in the world, you're able to blow up in the world, you're able to just be who you are, authentically you, but also have principles, and also have purposefulness and meaningfulness behind your actions. Like, who was the Ellie before? Was it hard for you to do that back then?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I really struggled most of my life. So I'm 38 right now. But I struggled for most of my life with a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of feeling like I didn't understand why I was here on this planet.
Mm.
I remember like being a kid and like observing humans, and I'm like, what is this place? And why is it so dark here? And why does it feel so cold and harsh?
Right.
And so I really struggled for a long time. And then when I was 32, I started doing inner child work, and that was my first initial spiritual awakening.
Mm.
And I've been on quite the journey since then. So yeah, it's been a ride, but I haven't always been like this. I've really struggled with depression my whole life, and now I'm starting to really shift and evolve. And so, yeah, I think anyone that's on the true awakening path, they understand this ain't no joke, and it's quite the journey.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And just thank you for admitting that. Thank you for your honesty and just giving that testimony of, how this journey can be tough, how the journey can be rough, and you found that you are more than enough, like even in the tough times, even in the rough times, like you're like, I am enough. I am, you stepped out on a limb, you stepped out on your purpose, and now you're in service.
yeah,
So it's like, even if you get nervous, you can still be on purpose. I love this. I love
yeah.
it.
I think the majority of us, and I'm going to use this term again, run a program of not feeling like we're enough, right? I mean, that's part of the world that we've been brought up in, is
Hmm.
that we're not taught by enlightened parents who have achieved enlightenment. So all we actually ever know is wounding and trauma, and then we're raised in a world that teaches you constantly, I mean, that you're never enough, that you always have to be better, that you have to compare yourself to other. I mean, this is why we're all sick, right? This is why we're all lost and suffering, correct? So when we say even like the term I'm enough, we have to come back to the remembrance that we are divinity herself, which means
Mm,
divinity, there is no such thing as enough. You're,
mm.
we are fractal pieces of the creator. And the journey to come back to that remembrance means that we have to look at every aspect of ourselves that is not divinity and do the work around it.
Right. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah,
We need that. We need that. We receive that. Like, it's the perspective we need in the collective to understand that that's what it is. Like we are, fractals. We're pieces of the one,
yeah,
of the
yeah,
one, like bringing it back to oneness,
yes,
bringing it back to wholeness and just making it holistic. So like that there's no separation, in the vibration. I love that. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Because when you were speaking, Ellie, I mean, my eyes kind of opened up when you said 38. I would have not thought
I
that
know.
you were older. I mean, I wouldn't have thought you were past me. I thought, you're so vibrant, you're so vital, like you have so much youthful energy that,
Yeah,
if you would have said that you were in your 20s, I would not have, I wouldn't have batted an eye, you
it's
know?
great. Great. I know. So, when I'm like 58, I'll look so much younger. It's great.
Benjamin Button path, the
That's
Benjamin
right.
Button. You're aging backwards.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You're going backwards.
Yeah.
So when you say, Ellie, that it was 32, that
Yeah.
things happened for you, that this, the spiritual awakening happened, some people with spiritual awakening, with awakening, some people they have it, through plant medicine, some people, he does, a few mushrooms and he has a spiritual awakening, somebody does ayahuasca, communes with Mother Aya, she has a spiritual awakening, or somebody goes to, a meditation retreat, they have a spiritual awakening. But you said it was healing your inner child.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
could you dive a little bit deeper into that?
So we're constantly going to have awakenings. I think a lot of people get really fixated on there's this one spiritual awakening. It's like, no, you'll have many awakenings if you're truly on the path of evolution,
Mm,
right? And so when I talk about my initial spiritual awakening, I knew that I was really messed up. Like I knew that I had some serious issues, but I didn't know why I had these issues. And
mm,
so when I started diving into going into inner child work, I was like, oh, this is all because my mom was like this, or my dad was like this, or I was raised in this kind of family, and all these other things, right?
mm,
And when I was starting doing work on myself, I literally started seeing angel numbers everywhere, and I didn't know what that was about. Like I grew up very religious, like my entire background is Christian. So I had no one to talk to about the fact that I was seeing 1111 everywhere. And so I Googled it because I thought I was going crazy. And it was like talking about angel numbers. And so that's when I started to understand, like, oh, when you start to do inner work on yourself, you're now walking the path of coming home to yourself,
mm,
which everything you've ever known of what you are is not really what you are,
mm,
right? When you start going in and seeing all the aspects of your shadow self that you're attached to, that you've identified with, and you realize, oh, that's not really me. So if that's not really me, who am I really? You start
mm.
learning how to connect to that. Now you're walking the path of a spiritual path, which is the truth of what we all are. We're souls having this temporary human experience. But I was very disconnected from that for a very long time.
Mhm.
Then when I started to go inward and doing the work for real on myself, that's when I started to spiritually awaken, which is just come out of the coma that I was in. That, oh, I'm a soul having this physical temporary experience. So let's do the work now to become more of who I really am, the truth.
Okay, the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Okay, knowing myself, knowing thyself, who I really am, who I truly am, coming out of the coma, just
Yeah.
out of the comatose state. So you felt you were sleeping. You saying you were asleep for
Oh,
a long.
Oh, dead asleep. Dead asleep to anything magical, powerful, mystical. I mean, there was so much brainwashing with religion, and there was also so much societal brainwashing. Like I was completely living a very earthly, superficial existence
Mhm.
until I started going inward. And I realized all of that is trash. This is actually the path of what we came here, many of us came here to do, is to wake up in a very unawakened world.
Wow. Wow. You've carried that responsibility on your shoulders. It's like, you're like, okay, this is the path.
Yep.
This is the way, right?
Yep.
This is the way in so many ways. I relate to you in so many ways, Ellie, when you're talking about growing up Christian, growing up in the church, just every single week, going to church, and every single week, hearing the pastor, and every single week, hearing the word and watching the sermon and reading the Bible, and every single week, gathering and thinking that we're going to go to this place and that we're putting it all on God and putting it all on the Lord, and it just, if it is his will, it will be. And spirituality, the stuff that we're talking about here, just awakening to, I am not a body, I live in a body, a soul having a human experience. It seemed very secular to even talk about things like this in the church, to
Yeah.
even talk about spirituality like that it was very demonized. It
Yes.
was very demonized, it's very cast out, it's very like over there. That's
Yes.
not what we're about over here.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean that's the goal. The goal is for you to be so disconnected from your own divinity. And the goal is that you constantly look outside of you to be saved, to be healed, to be loved. I mean, religion has been brilliant in disconnecting people from their souls.
Mm.
You're, I mean, all of us, I mean, a lot of us, the Savior, the Jesus, the cross, the pastor, the priest, we need everything outside of us to actually connect to God,
Mm.
right? And all that is lies. That's pure lies. And it's all designed that way so people keep looking outside of themselves so they never look within themselves.
Wow. Wow. So if your family or friends, or if your circle, your group that you were with in those times, how do they how do they view you in these times? Like, how do they view this version of Ellie? Like, how do they see your lifestyle, your style of living? Has it affected them in some way to see you, spread your wings and fly like this butterfly here?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody that's on this path, you will have to shed many, many versions of you that are not you, right? We call them ego deaths, we call them deaths, we call them rebirths, whatever it is. I'm not here to hang on to anybody or anything.
Mm.
I'm truly here to evolve as a being. I'm here to become a being of oneness. And on the way, as you're walking this road, you will lose many people. I mean, people think I'm crazy or nuts. Anything that doesn't fit into the box that they have built for themselves, they will label you certain things,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And so my job is to go, well, if you can't hang and if you're not going to go upward, you stay where you are. I completely honor that, but I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
Right. So I've said goodbye to many, many friends. I've said goodbye to many, many family members.
Wow.
And the question is, are you moving through whatever it brings up as you do? And the answer to that is, oh yeah, I moved through it all. And then I keep honoring the path that I'm here to elevate for real. And whoever wants to elevate with me, great. And if you don't, great. That's your choice. And I honor that, but I didn't come here in this lifetime to play. I
Wow.
really came here to shed it all, to become, and I'm going to say this a lot, but become the truth of who and what I am.
True.
Yeah.
The truth. I respect that, Ellie. I respect your bluntness.
Yeah.
You have this openness, and this forthcoming like authenticity is very open, and you're very blunt.
Yeah.
You're very to the point. Like, you don't beat around the bush, you don't mess around. You're like, hey, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
que sera sera, whatever will be. But if you're not going upward, I'm going onward.
Yes.
Like, we're moving. This train is moving. Get on the train or get off. You
Yep.
know.
That's it. And, I think too, um, people are not used to anybody coming from a place of power, right?
Mm.
We try to placate a lot. We try to make people feel comfortable. And the truth of the matter is like, I'm not here to make people feel comfortable. I'm here to speak truth. And I'm not talking about my egoic truth. I'm talking about truth, right? And in that way, the people who will be able to hear that will hear that and go, oh yeah, let's walk that. Or and if people don't, that's fine too. I think, and I'm sure maybe you experience this too. When you speak from a place of truth, divine truth, it triggers people.
Yeah.
And I've had to move through a lot of what that brings up in me as I keep speaking truth from a
Mm.
place of divinity, not from my ego. Right. And so when you say the blunt thing, I've done a lot of work to get to this place of speaking the way that I speak and coming from completely my soul, because there was so much wounding around, well, what do people think about me? And like, I have to speak this way. And like, I want people to like me. And it's like, all of that is weakness and powerlessness. So I'm constantly working through all of that when it comes up, and then just keep on trekking.
I feel you. I feel you. The real you, you
Yeah.
know, the real you, you let it heal you, you let it reveal you, and you
Yes.
step into the real you, you
Yeah.
know? So I
Yeah.
feel you. Ellie, you remind me of the master. They talk about the master in the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu in this beautiful book, this beautiful, in Eastern philosophy writings, they talk about the Tao Te Ching, they talk about the master when things come, she lets them come,
Mm,
and when things go, she lets them go. You
beautiful.
know,
Freedom.
that's freedom.
Yeah.
That's freedom.
Because where we suffer is the attachment.
Okay.
We create so much suffering for ourselves because we attach to things, to people, to experiences. That's where we suffer.
Mm.
Detachment is freedom.
Mm.
That you come and you go. I don't need to hang on to you. I don't need to hold on for dear life. I don't need to need you. It's like, you come, great, beautiful. I'm so glad that you're here. And you're going to go, great. It's the detachment that is freedom that we have to all learn in a world where all we've ever been taught is attachment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like we're relearning, we're reparenting, we're re-establishing these patterns, and also just these forms of attachment. We're just uncoupling ourselves from those forms of attachment over time, and it can be tough for a lot of people. It can
Yeah.
be rough for a lot of people when it comes to your process. Was there ever like a grieving afterwards? Because you said that there were a lot of friends you had to let go, a lot of family members you had to let go, a lot of things that you had to let flow by the wayside for you to go on your higher path. Was
Yeah.
there ever a grieving that followed that, where you had to take a moment to really readjust when these old things, these layers were falling away?
Absolutely. Of course there's grief. And I still move through grief every time, someone leaves or whatever is. I have to process what that brings up in me. A lot of people, we don't want to feel grief, skip it, right? Or so we just disconnect from it. And it's like, no, honor the grief.
Mm.
Honor it. Let it flow through you, every inch of it. And in that, you will have processed 100% everything that person, that being, whatever was in your life. Like,
Mm.
it's a way of honoring yourself, 100%.
Okay. So I just want to be correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you're saying when we feel that grief, you're saying don't shy away from it. You're saying
Oh,
we honor it by feeling every inch of the grief.
yes. And you do it with an open heart. You learn how to open your heart chakra. When you are opening your heart chakra, you are connected to the divine. It is what you are. So when the grief comes, a lot of people go, I need to skip that, or I don't want to feel that because it's so painful. And the truth is, it is in honoring every single inch of the pain that is where you become more powerful.
Wow. Wow. I felt that. I felt that. You know, Ellie, one of the other things I relate to you on and I really resonate about you with is depression.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was younger, not only, they, of course, like you said, they always label us. So they
Mhm.
labeled me with something called attention deficit hyperactivity
Yep.
disorder. They said you have a disorder. You, you're, you're too energetic. You're too hyper.
Yep.
You're unfocused. You can't concentrate. And
Yep.
so I took, years and years of pharmaceuticals for that, all the way from first grade to like 11th grade. But
Yep.
also for depression. I was also very depressed, and so they kind of medicated me on that. So I was taking pharmaceuticals for, ADHD and depression at one time. And it
Yep.
was a lot. You know, I didn't feel like myself. I didn't really feel connected with my spirit, with my soul calling. I kind of felt like a zombie.
Yep.
So for anybody who hasn't experienced depression and they don't know what that's like, because you said it was a very dark period, you said you knew you were messed up. You said that.
Hmm.
What was that like for somebody who hasn't really been through that kind of darkness? What did that depression look like for you?
Well, first I'll say this. So, what you feel like to me is a highly sensitive person. Would you say that you're a highly sensitive being?
Mhm.
Yeah. Would you also consider yourself an empath?
I would.
Yeah. Okay. So, when people like you and I, okay, and highly sensitive people, we only make up 20% of the world. There's not a lot of us, right? And empaths, there's also not a lot of us in this world. We are actually meant to come in like this into Earth because we're meant to be the new leaders of New Earth.
Mhm.
Because we feel, okay? How much empathy we have for others, how sensitive we are, okay? And the more that you heal, the more sensitive you will become, okay? So when highly sensitive beings and empaths are born into this world that is so dark, that is so evil, that is so disconnected from their divinity, we struggle. It's not like we had parents and caregivers that nurtured us, that taught us, that raised us to become powerful in our sensitivities, in our empathic ways. We were not,
Mhm.
right? We dealt with a lot of trauma. We dealt with a lot of nurturing energy. We dealt with a lot of harshness. I went through a lot of abuse. And over time, what that does to a highly sensitive being and an empath, right? I mean, think about the effects that that has on us.
Mhm.
And then they label us as, well, you've got mental illness and you have ADHD and you're bipolar and all of these things, right? Because we're not raised in a world that teaches us what we are,
Mhm.
that nurtures us, that helps us mold ourselves as we are so sensitive and as we are so empathic. So, of course, a lot of us fall into addictions. We fall into real deep depressions. We get manic. I mean, people get addicted to drugs. I mean, you name it. Some of the most people who are really addicted to substances, or like, even when I see men who are like really tattooed, my first thinking is they're probably a highly sensitive being, and they were not nurtured. They probably had so much abuse and harshness that the only thing they know how to do is destroy themselves in some kind of way.
Wow.
Okay, so we have to understand that first. We are here to master all of the stuff that's been created as a result of what we are. So
Mhm.
we have to master like narcissists, and we have to master harshness. We have to master powerlessness, like all of those tests of initiation we have to move through to become the powerful leaders that we actually are. Because what the world really needs is highly sensitive people who are powerful, who are in their power, and empathic leaders who are powerful, because the world is not governed by highly sensitive people or empaths. Okay, they're governed by very evil, cold, disconnected from their divinity beings, which is why the way that it is. Okay,
Mhm.
so when you have a kid like you who is highly sensitive, who is empathic, and they don't know what to do with you, and you're trying to move around this world with everything that it is, okay? They're going to label you things, and then the goal is to put you on a pharmaceutical. That's the goal. Because when they put you on a pharmaceutical, they know what it does to us. They know how much it messes with our fields, it destroys our bodies, it completely numbs us and disconnects us from feeling anything.
Mhm.
So become a zombie. That's what they want.
Wow.
So for me, I was losing it. At 16 years old till 33 years old, I was on antidepressants.
Wow.
That's 19 years. Completely numbed me out, disconnected me. I mean, I was still struggling constantly. It ruined a part of my liver. They want people on antidepressants because when you're a zombie, you're easily controllable.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So a lot of us that fall into depression, it's because of what we are, number one. And number two, we're never taught how to process anything.
Okay.
So everybody is walking around traumatized, and they're trapped at very young ages whenever the traumas happened.
Mhm.
So you and I may look like adults, but what parts of you are still trapped at 2 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, that we didn't know as children how to process any kind of trauma, any kind of lack of nurturing, whatever it is. We're trapped at the. So the shadow work is, let's dive into that. Let's free those inner children. But you have to learn how to start connecting to your soul and open your heart as you dive in and descend into the darkness.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for illustrating this because, you're empowering people to rise up, to let people know that you're sensitive for a reason. You have feelings that you're feeling for a reason. Like you have
Yeah.
empathy for a reason. Like you're not here for no reason, you know?
No, your superpower. It is
Right.
an insane gift of what we are. It's insane. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is literally what is going to help the world. And we are brought up in a world that tells you, no, there's something wrong with you. And then we start to believe that there's something wrong with us.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then we start to create all this other wounding. And then so many of us get lost and we get
Mm-hmm.
stuck into that and we drown.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
path of what we're actually here to do is, oh no, I don't choose to drown, I'm going to rise. And as
Yes.
you start to rise, then you start to see, oh, I'm a superhuman with superpower because I'm so sensitive, because I'm so empathic. That's what the world needs more of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. So before you came into that power, before you came into your queendom, before you came into just this royal sovereign, this sovereignty nature that you have right now, that you exude not only this wisdom, but also just this confidence, before you came into this consciousness, if you could describe like what was a dark day like some
Uh,
people when they're talking about depressed, some people have like like I didn't know you suffered all like that abuse. You said it was
yeah,
extensive. There was a lot of abuse, things that you suffered, you had to go through, and you even had to grow through that. I mean, there's no reason why you should have had to suffer that, but you suffered it. And then when you're going through from antidepressants from 16 to 33, like some people they have suicidal ideation, some people don't even want to be here anymore. So like what was, if you could describe even just like one day that it
yeah,
got to a very, very low point.
yeah. I went through a lot of suicidal ideations for a long time.
Mm,
Like hurt myself in a lot of different ways because on a really dark day, it would be, there is no point of me living. I mean, that's how dark it would get, like, what is the point of this existence? Why am I here? What am I? And why would I choose to be here and live amongst it? Like that was probably a really, really dark day for me, when I couldn't get out of bed because the depression was just had me in a chokehold.
mhm.
And when you're so lost in the depression, and remember, it's a program that we run. It's an energy that flows through us that we say yes to. And depression is caused because there's so much other stuff that we haven't processed. So we go into depression because there's so many other energies that we have not sat with, that we have not opened up to, that we have not felt. And then depression comes in and just anchors us down, right?
Yeah.
So it was couldn't get out of bed and I don't want to live anymore. I mean, that was a really dark day for me, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for admitting that. Just thank you for your vulnerability on that because, people have gone through that as well and they can, I mean, one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing today and just the fact that I even have, the podcast and the fact that I keep putting my voice out there is that one day, Ellie, a girl told me that something I said, like
yeah,
some words that I shared on my podcast, stopped her from doing that. Like she was about to end it all. She was about to just end her life and just say, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. There's no point. There's no purpose. And I don't even know what I said. Like
yeah,
I don't even know what it was, but she said something you said
yeah,
changed my mind and
yeah,
you're the reason I'm still here. And I remember how emotional I got when I heard those words coming from her, and that we were just complete strangers, but it was because of just doing what you're doing, putting your voice out there, just uplifting somebody, encouraging somebody, enthusing somebody, enlightening somebody. And you may not ever know who that is, but
yeah,
but somebody needs to hear that, you know.
yeah. And just to share with you, You know, a part of the whole thing of when we come here to earth and have this human experience is we are born with an ego. And my teacher always teaches me this. The ego is just simply a veil of forgetfulness.
Mm,
We have to forget to come here to have the human experience. Because if we all came here remembering our divinity, remembering that we come from creator and we're all in the light, we're never going to have a human experience.
mm,
It's never going to be what it is. So we come here born with an ego, which is simply a veil of forgetfulness. You forget where you are, what you are when you come to this planet. Okay. And then you walk this path. And then for many of us, we walk the path of remembering, right? And so a lot of people who come here start to run a program of victim consciousness because of how harsh this world is, right? So each individual soul, you're having an experience. So a lot of people get triggered by this, but you picked your parents. Like you chose the experience that you're going to have because you're meant to grow from it, learn from it, evolve from it, and elevate out of it. But
mm,
what we get lost is that we become a victim to it. So we blame everybody else and I'm such a victim. And it's like, you got to heal that because when you heal that victim consciousness energy that you keep saying yes to, you will start to see, oh, I had my mom because I had to learn this and I had to grow up from this. I
wow.
had to become this because of the way that she raised me or the things that happened with her. I had this dad because I had to learn this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I had to grow and elevate out of it.
Mm,
When you start to see that you chose this experience with your parents, your upbringing for a reason, you no longer are a victim to it anymore.
right.
You look at it from a place of what am I here to learn and who am I meant to become because of this?
Yes.
And
Yes.
we chose it. So, like, it's the truth. Like, that's just what it is. So, grow, elevate, become.
Yeah. What am I
Yeah.
meant to learn and who am I meant to become? That's
Yeah.
powerful. That's powerful. So even from that vantage point, it sounds like you can have an attitude of gratitude for something that people, I mean, like you said, you can't have victory in victimhood. You know, where's the victory in victimhood? You can't be victorious if you're always the victim. So for you to go out and just broaden the scope of your vision and have what feels like a bird's eye view of this whole situation here, and you're taking a look at Ellie, you're taking a look at yourself and say, oh no, I picked that, like I chose that, and I did that, and it's me. You
Yeah.
know, it's not them. It's like this was all by divine design.
Yeah. And another reminder too, right? A part of what we come into this place with, like into the earth with, is we choose certain things, but there are other certain things that are going to happen to you because we're having this experience, right? So it's never black or white. It's never I chose everything. It's like no, you chose a lot of it. And then there are other experiences that come because you are also a creator. So what are you creating as well, right? As a result of being a creator being. So we have to remember that too. Okay.
Mm,
And then you said something else that made me think of something else, but it'll come to me. But we have to remember that too. It's never black or white. And that's the duality consciousness that we've all been brought. It's got to be this or it's got to be that. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
mm,
Right. We came here, we definitely chose our parents for sure. We chose the upbringing for sure. But then there are other things that you're going to experience on this planet that you didn't choose, but
mm.
it created, so you have to move through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Move through it, groove through it, improve through it, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah,
It,
I love the way like poetry out of your mouth constantly. I love it. But can I and your name is Jerome, right?
yes.
Okay, and Jerome, I want to say something too. So what I've what I've seen a lot on the spiritual journey, right? Because let's be honest, there's a lot of false light in the spiritual world, okay?
Mm,
And we have to all learn how to move through and start to discern what's false light and what's not, right?
mm,
And one of the things that in the beginning of my journey that I saw a lot was like just have gratitude, have gratitude, have gratitude.
mm,
And when we talk to people about just have gratitude, it's dishonoring why gratitude isn't just effortlessly flowing.
mm.
So we have to move through difficult experiences. And when you move through it and when you move out of it and you elevate out of it, gratitude will organically be.
Okay.
It's not have gratitude for it. It's like, no, gratitude will come as you move through it because this is so painful, but I love myself to move through all of this. And when you do and you elevate out of it, you'll look back on that experience, you'll go, holy crap, that was tough. And I got out of it, and look who I am now as a result of it. I am so in gratitude for what that painful experience came here to teach me and to show me, because look who I am now as a result of that. That's actually organic gratitude without being forced.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Organic gratitude. I like that. So
Yeah.
so there is gratitude that you feel is less organic or maybe inorganic.
Yeah, it was always like in the beginning of my spiritual journey, I'd be like, just have gratitude, be grateful for what you have. And it's like, but I feel this, this, and that. So I'm not even near gratitude right now. Right. And it's like, why would I force gratitude when I have to move through the fact that I'm in lack and I'm in scarcity and I feel unworthy? Like, why am I just looking at what's great, but I'm dishonoring what are the things that are not great that I have to move through and I have to alchemize here? Do you get what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
Like, you want to get to the good good, you get to the good good by going on the journey of becoming the good good, by bringing what you are to what doesn't feel good. Like, that's what we have to start teaching people is feel the pain,
Yeah.
move through it,
Yeah.
honor it, connect to your divinity as you do,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that come at the end of it.
Yeah. Thank you for the polarity, just thank you for that because I mean, we've heard it so many times, Ellie. We can't have flowers without rain,
Right.
can't have joy without pain. Like you need both. You need both to
Yeah.
have that level of appreciation, to have that high vibration, as it were.
Yes.
You need to experience it all. So I really love this. I love that you're not one dimensional, and you're letting people know we're not one dimensional. It's not black and white. It's
What?
not just this or that. It's both and. Like, okay,
Yes.
yeah, you did pick this, and this, but hey, the rest you got to pick on your own. Like, you're writing this story as you go. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
as
We
you
have we are creator beings. We are
right.
extensions of the creator herself, which means we're constantly creating. We've just
Hmm.
all been brainwashed to create all like negative and low things, right? That's all we keep creating. That's why the world is the way that it is. To change the world and the darkness that exists, we must become the light. We must become responsible for all the ways that we contribute to the darkness, because all anything is energy. That's all anything, right? So when your depression comes, when your fear comes, what do you do with it? Do you push it away? Do you suppress it? Do you eat it away? Do you drink it away? Or when the fear comes, do I connect to my divinity and do I open to it and do I transform that fear that exists? Yeah,
Hmm.
that's how we start to create heaven on earth, because we're starting to create it within ourselves.
Yes. Yes. Oh man. So it's like if you don't see the light, be the light. Like
You
like
are the light.
you are the light.
Yeah.
You are the light. So recognize. You better recognize.
Yeah.
You better recognize who you are and what you are, and why you're here. So have no fear. You're still here. If you're still here, you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be here. So my goodness, you also spoke about when you said, on antidepressants, you said it did something to your liver, like it almost messed up your liver. There was almost like irreparable function there. What was it with your liver? For people who don't know about the far-reaching consequences of
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals and antidepressants, like what was it doing to your liver that was almost, a really bad situation?
So it's a part of my intestines. So I've had really dear and near medical like intuitives say the same thing when they tap into my intestines. They can see that there's a part of my intestines that's been very damaged by the antidepressants.
Mm,
And I can feel because my intestines don't function right. And so when they tap in, they can see like all those years of abuse, of that harshness, of those synthetic drugs being in my system
mm,
has severely damaged a part of my intestines.
mm.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're saying. I mean, this is something that can be over time, like recovered, rejuvenated, revitalized.
Absolutely. You got to do some work around it for sure, right? So we have to understand something, that when we don't process trauma and wounding over time, that becomes parts of our bodies.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's why diseases happen, illnesses happen, because we have not processed anything, which means that energy, where does it go? It gets trapped. So it becomes parts of our spine, becomes parts of our intestines, becomes parts of our neck, whatever it is. And then the Western world, they don't teach you anything about that, but they'll teach you, do this surgery, take this pill. I mean, it's so sick, right? It just keeps people trapped,
Yeah.
right? We have to start understanding what are the energetics that are also trapped in here,
Hmm.
right? I mean, there are levels and layers to this. So there's energies. There are also, as you're working and doing the work on yourself, bring in the chiropractor or the craniosacral or the massage therapist or the myofascial. In oneness, we work together. But first, you have to start doing the work on yourself, to learning about what energies are trapped in these parts of my body that are creating this pain, that's allowing this damage to be, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
Beautifully said, beautifully put. You know, it's like, with the allopathic medicine, like one of my friends was saying that he said, we don't have a healthcare system, we have a sick care
There.
system.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I remember hearing, and I don't know how this is because I've never been, to those countries and continents, but I remember hearing like in China, like in the East, they have this, like their healthcare is you don't, like you pay the doctor as long as you're healthy, but once you get sick, you stop paying.
No.
Something like that. I
Yeah.
remember there was somewhere where there was this some system that
Yeah.
made a lot more sense. Like we paid the doctors like inordinate amounts of money to like make me healthy again. But
Yeah.
in some places they have it backwards, like where
Yeah.
you pay them while you're healthy, but when you're sick, you don't pay them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like it's within they're incentivized to like for your well-being. It's
Yeah.
incentivized.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a sick care system. The goal is to keep people sick because sick people make money.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So speaking of, the digestive system, your intestines, speaking of that, you have this wonderful, I mean, oh my gosh, so powerful, just so your words, this reel, you're keeping it real on these reels, Ellie. You're keeping it all the way real on your reels. There's a reel that I saw of you, and that's actually how I got introduced to you.
Yeah.
And you're talking specifically about, I think you and your boyfriend or you and your partner were fasting together, and you were like, hey guys, this eating every day thing is for the birds. Like I think this eating every day thing is like another program that we need to uncouple and untangle and
Yeah.
reprogram. So can you talk about that, you know, what that came to you, like how that realization sparked within you?
Yeah. So a lot of what I'm learning right now around all of this, I'm being taught by my teacher. Her name is Rachel Fiore. But when you're truly on the path of awakening, okay, when you're truly someone that's evolving, okay, we have to understand something. The old physical body and the old DNA are part of the old earth. Okay. So in the world that we've all been raised in, we are poisoned. There's chemicals in everything. Our air, water, food, it's all tainted, right? I mean, I can't even go into a grocery store anymore because I'm like, this is all fake food. It's all pesticides, all chemicals. There's nothing actually here that benefits me at all. It's all here to poison and destroy me, right? And part of the agenda of the old earth is to brainwash us with food, because when you're constantly intaking food that's filled with chemicals and pesticides, right? And you're constantly just eating, 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 and all you hear over and over again is 3 full meals and protein and have lots of protein and eat your snacks. And but what that agenda is to keep people so distracted, disconnected, and so bogged down by all of this food and all these chemicals, so that people never feel anything and never connect to their power. That's the agenda. Okay. So many of us who are truly evolving now, our bodies are changing because we're creating new bodies, because more light is coming in. We are becoming more of the light that we are. So when people talk about ascension, That's your physical body catching up to the light that's coming in,
Mm.
right? So when all this light's starting to come in, you can't have the old body that's all messed up. You can't, which means we're forming new bodies and our DNA is recoding. Okay. So for me, I've used food as a coping mechanism. I've been addicted to food. I've had eating disorders because food was a way for me not to feel all the pain that was in there. Okay. And we are so brainwashed with eating, 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 constantly eating, right? I mean, it's sick. And they tell you that if you don't eat, this will happen. It's all sick. It's all designed to keep us gone, basically, right? So as I'm evolving for real, my body is rapidly changing. My body, I have moved through so many different phases in the last 2 years that's been blowing me away. Where I'm in a place now where my body is rejecting food. Like, it's like, we don't want that. We don't want most of what you're trying to put in, right? So I'm moving through the layers of programming that are in my brain that constantly tell me things like, well, you're hungry and you should eat. And the truth of the matter is when I actually tap into my body and I ask, it's saying, please don't eat. My soul is like, don't eat. But the programming goes, no, you have to eat, right? And so we have to start working through what is the programming and the brainwashing, and then what is our soul guiding us to do right now? Because nobody knows that, right? And so I'm moving through all of those layers, but I'm also feeling how much my body does not want to eat food. And when it does, I am in so much pain. Like, I go through so much pain as a result of it. When I'm juicing or when I'm water fasting, I feel incredible. Incredible. The moment I put food into my body, I feel myself drop. Like, I feel I have a friend who he's like a huge muscly man, right? And he was like, I'm just gonna do a 24-hour fast. He's like, just to try it, right? He said after the 24 hours, he's like, I felt emotions that I never feel. That's how much we're bogged down. And it's all that way so you don't feel. So
Mm.
you don't connect. So you don't feel all the different things that are happening at once that are moving through you. You get what
Mm.
I'm saying here? So a lot of us who are on the true awakening path, we're forming new bodies. Our DNA is recoding. So we have to start honoring what that looks like. You got to say goodbye to a lot of it. And you got to start honoring what is actually being asked of you. And for me right now, I'm very much still in the thick of it. There are times where I really struggle with it because of how much programming there still is around food. Also, I love food, right? But I'm like, do I actually love all of this stuff, or is it an addiction? Is it it's like there, and it'll be individual for everybody, but I know that I'm very much walking the path right now of less food, less food, less food.
Yeah.
And it's gnarly, but also like it's the way. So I'm just listening to what that way is and what it's guiding me to do.
This is the way. This is
Yeah.
the way. I love how you listen to your guidance.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I love how you listen to your own intuition, like your gut guidance, your gut instincts, your gut intuitions. It
Yeah.
kicks in and it's like, hey, like not today, like not
Not
now, you
not now.
know?
Yeah.
Like let's slow down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's tremendous that you're able to do that. For a lot of people, it takes tremendous willpower, immense mental fortitude, immense discipline. Like they think people who, what your friend did, just going even 24 hours without food on your plate or without stuffing your face, just 24 hours is like suffering to a lot of people. They're like, I would never do that. And they
That,
delay that for
yep.
decades,
Yep. That's the
you
brainwash.
know?
Yeah, that's the brainwashing. And it's complete fragility. And like people don't, oh, I can never. No, you can. You can. But we've been brought up in a world that it has to be so rigid and like forced and disciplined and you got to have self-control. And it's like, no, just feel into what gets activated in you, what gets triggered in you when you even think about fasting for 24 hours. That's where your work is. Those are the energies you got to start working with. You got to go deeper into that stuff. Because when you start alchemizing all of that and going deeper into that, there will be no discipline and force and self control and willpower. It's, oh, I'm working and alchemizing all the energies that get triggered in me when I think about fasting. As you work toward that, it'll start effortlessly. You'll be able to effortlessly do a 24 fast, a 48-hour, a 72-hour, a 5-day, or whatever it is. You got to work with what's blocking you from doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. I agree. And I love just the conviction in your voice when you said, what gets triggered? You know? Like what comes up? What is that tingling? Like what is
Yes.
that pain in your neck? Like what is that feeling when you even think about
Yes.
going without?
Yes.
When you even think about that level of surrender, just kind of just letting go of that desire and that fire, and just when you're trying to rewire, like what triggers, in that moment, and you're saying that's where the work is, like
Yes.
that's the work.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah.
my God. When you're talking about addiction and just levels of affliction, when it comes to, consumption, when it comes to what we consume on the daily, for myself, I've had plenty as well, just dealing with food addiction. And I didn't know it was an addiction because it was very, you know, I mean, it was part of the congregation. It was
Yeah.
part of the nation. It was part of the vibration. It was part of, like celebration. Like hey, congratulations, let's go grab a bite, let's go eat
That's
something,
it.
let's go have
Yep.
something, hey, let's go do something. Like, it was always food involved, so it's like everybody's doing the same thing. It was very, you know I mean, it was very normalized. It was normal,
Exactly.
you
That
know
everything is centered around food. Everything.
yeah.
Why do you think they've done that? So that we're constantly eating.
Mm.
Constantly. We can't even hang out with each other without eating. We can't even sit around without eating. Every celebration, every get together, every eat, 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 eat. It's all the brainwashing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
every holiday,
Every holiday, everything.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, you got your cookout on Independence Day, 4th of
Yep.
July, you got your New
Yep.
Year's, you got like every single holiday, there's food involved for sure.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then, like I said, all of the chemicals and the poison, the pesticides, and then not to mention all the meat that people are consuming, all the dairy, all of that is filled with grief and fear and murder and torture and slaughter. And then all of those frequencies go into us.
Wow. Wow.
It's deep, Jerome. This is deep. The levels of brainwashing that's been done to us, what they do to us, it's deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I first started fasting and,
Yeah.
and just doing these different things that were really totally against who I was at from before,
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was addicted until I tried to let go of something that had been so etched into my identity, like so
Yep.
wrapped up into who I thought I was as a person, like my mask, my persona, like
Yeah.
this is me. I like these things, I don't like those things. You
Right.
know, this
Yep.
is me. I eat these things, I don't eat those things. You
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
And so when I tried to let go, it was like something was fighting, you
Yeah.
know? And all these things suddenly looked so inviting,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, like what do I do now? So
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was a problem until it was a problem. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like people will go on doing something or go on chewing something, not knowing that there's an addiction at play
Yep.
until the day that they decide to let go.
Yeah.
Then
Yep.
that's when like if you decide to let go just for a time, and then you realize I can't let go, like, okay, this is on my mind all day long. This is the
Yeah.
mental chattel, like
Yep.
I find myself going back to this even when I don't want to,
Yeah.
even against my own wishes. Like what is that thing that supersedes the mind,
Yeah.
for you to break out of that pattern and alchemize that. What is that thing within you that overrides the neural network that's controlling everything, that's governing all this?
So when you say you could feel that battle, right?
Hmm.
This is where we have to start learning how to master energy. You
Okay.
have to start tuning into what is the subtle energies that are flowing right now, that it's creating a battle in the first place, right? And remember, your mind is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind, it should never be all this stuff about like become mentally strong. No, 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 no. That like my teacher always says, fuck your mind. It's an okay. Your mind is there for things like math, and then it goes to the side, and you lead with your soul. Okay, your soul is number one. That was always meant to be the CEO of your life. That's what we're all in suffering. F your mind. Okay, when you go to fast and you feel that battle coming on, sit down with yourself and start to feel what are the energies right now that are activated? What's actually going on? So, for example, today I'm cleansing all day. Okay. This morning when I woke up, I knew that I was cleansing, and immediately I started watching my mind start running programs. Okay. And it said, well, maybe we don't need to do it today. And like, maybe you can do it tomorrow. And like, maybe we should eat today. And like, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, great. So you're all running because what you're actually connected to is a self-sabotage program. Okay. So that's that self-sabotage program trying to sabotage what my soul is guiding me to do. So then I started working with those energies. Those energies are what need my love right now. I'm going to love you into transcendence because you're trying to take me away from listening to my guidance right now. Okay. We have to start understanding what is our mind and what is our soul. We don't know yet, a lot of us. You got to start doing the work to go, oh, my mind is running a program right now. And here's all of the stuff that it's telling me. And what is my soul actually guiding me to do? Connect to that and start to bring love to all the stuff that your mind is saying. That's alchemy.
Okay. Okay.
Then you'll start to honor this instead of this.
Right. Right.
Yes.
And you said love it into transcendence. I love that. You know? Love it into transcendence. Alchemize it. You said the soul is the CEO.
Yes. Yes.
We need that on a t-shirt. The soul is the CEO of your life. That's
Yes.
brilliant. That's
Yep.
brilliant. So that's how you can have more resilience when you tap into the soul's brilliance. Like you have more resilience because you're not efforting, you're not forcing, you're flowing with your soul where the soul is going. That's where the energy's flowing.
Yeah. Because divinity, there's no force in divinity.
Right.
There is no control in divinity. That doesn't even exist. So when you know you're in force and you're running programs of force and control and rigidity, you're disconnected from your divinity, which means you're running programs.
Mm. When you're in rigidity, you're disconnected from divinity.
Yes.
Oh, and you lose the infinity when you stick in rigidity. Okay, I get it. I get you, Ellie. I
Get it.
got you. I got you. Oh my gosh. Much
Yep.
love, Ellie. You've been just dropping just so much truth, so much truth on us, just this rising. And just thank you for energizing everyone here. Thank you for energizing. Thank you for showing up
Yeah.
showing up as your authentic self and being unafraid to be heard, being unafraid to be seen, and just in all your glory, but to share your story, to let people know, hey, I've been there. I see where you are. I've been there. I know what you're going through. I've been there.
Yeah.
I know that it's tough. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we need people to remind us,
Yeah.
so that we can understand that we're not alone out here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Jerome.
Thank you. And just right before you leave, can you let people know
Yep.
where they can find any of your services, your offerings? Like, what's the best place for people to connect with you that you
Yeah.
would say to get the things that you offer?
Yep. So just go to the link in my bio. I'm a student and a coach at our metaphysical school called Masters of Self University, where you can learn higher spiritual education, everything that I've been talking about on this podcast episode. So check out my Instagram, LEYJ Lee, or mastersofselfuniversity.com. Our fall semester starts August 26th. So we're enrolling students now. So come on board. We have free student enrollment meetings, so you can sign up in the link in my bio and learn more.
Beautiful, beautiful, awesome. All right, we'll do, and enjoy the rest of your day. I heard, by the way, that
Yeah,
you're are you meeting with Aaliyah?
I did. I met her over the weekend.
Awesome. She
Yeah,
told me that she was meeting with you. I was
so
like, that's, what a synchronicity,
yeah, yeah, awesome.
Awesome. So I'm sure that was a divine encounter.
It
All
was beautiful.
right.
Yeah.
Well, blessings, Ellie. Take care.
All right. Bye, Jerome. Thank you.